Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 9 of Advent of Code. Um, Done and go, TDD style. Um, let's let's get to it. All right. Uh, let's see. What's the last thing that happened? Um, what were we doing? I forgot what we were doing last time. Oh yeah, there was the display. We're trying to make it through a series of tunnels or something like that, right? Okay. So now these caves and tunnels seem to be lava tubes. Oh, that doesn't sound good. And parts are even still volcanically active. Small hydrothermal vents release smoke that slowly settles. If you can model how the smoke flows, you might be able to avoid it and be that much safer. Submarine generates a height map of the floor of the nearby caves. For me, smoke flows to the lowest point of the area. All right, so consider the following height map. Okay. So, like if this were to be some sort of topographical map that dips. Okay, so and even though there might be basically it's saying that this is the lowest point based on whatever is surrounding it right here, right? There's no lower point in the surrounding vicinity. So it is the lowest point. This is not the lowest point, right? Because there's like a 1 here. This is not the lowest point because there's a 0 here. Everything beyond the 0 is larger. Okay. Find the low points. Most locations have 4 adjacent locations: up, down, left, right. Diagonal locations don't count. Um, uh, 4 low points are highlighted. 2 are in the first row. Blah blah blah. Um, all of them have lower adjacent points, which is defined by left, up, down, left, and right. Risk level for a low point is 1 plus its height. Um, all right. All low points in a height map. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, that's not so bad. That's not like huge. It's not that many rows. It won't take long to iterate through it, right? We can already find. Let's see. There's a low point right there. We found one. All right. Um, let's uh, let's look at what we got here. That I believe is going to be multiple rows, right? So we're going to want to pick. Does this one have multiple rows? Yeah, but it's not just. We can still use this. And we're gonna no. Let's find one that has sort of similar stuff, but has their ints because we I think we wanted to turn these into um, integers, which is what we're going to want to do here so that we can copy them. All right, so let's copy 7, rename it to 09. Change this to day 9, and then we will cd into it. Let's get, I probably should have picked a different one actually, just because this is just a one-liner. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Um, Yeah, there's only 100. It's only 100 by 100 probably. So only a million. Only a million numbers to go through, right? A million numbers to compare to 4 numbers. So that's what? 4 million comparisons for this first part. That shouldn't take long. Not when we're using a compiled language. All right. Let's see. And our test input is this. And let's look at our tests that we have. Part 1, part 2, we're not doing an ordered slice. We're going to make int. We're going to make a slice. Perfect. The only difference is, you know what I could just do right here? It's not a map, right? But it is a list of ints. All right, so what do we got? We're going to have this, comma, chameleon. All right. See, these keyboard tricks are awfully helpful. Okay. Even though we're not ready to test yet, let's go look at our main so that we can clean that out. Part 1, part 2, get rid of those. Don't want that. Do have a load input. We do have a, okay. So we're gonna keep all these. We're not actually going to split them on anything, right? Because there's no commas there. So let's go look at this. Right, it's just let's actually let's go ahead and test that. I know that it's going to fail. Oh, it's not happy about that at all. Oh, yeah, that's okay. We do want that. Let's you know what, let's pause this, comment some of these out. As always, we'll be returning an int. Oh, that's because I haven't. Comment all this out. All right. Let's go ahead and test it again. Undefined load input. Yeah, because we commented that out. But that means that we should have passed our other test. All right. So now we're back to load input. So let's look at load input. I have seen other people kind of do a little bit more. Right. So this file right here is import those things. It's just like a byte array, right? Which is just basically everything, I believe. And then if I string this, right, it's basically the whole thing with the So it's, instead of caring about how many lines are in an input, right? It's just capturing that new line character, right? So the first thing we can do with this file is say like data lines. Or we can just say data. Let's just say data, right? Is so file. So we're just gonna do strings. Split. Oops. And we're going to split file. That's not right yet. I'm going to split string file on the separator new line, right? So now we have each of the lines, right? And data is a list of strings. And then we're going to split those on nothing, right? So, right, so now we have data, right? So so this is going to be the string, right, of numbers here, right? And what we're going to want to do is make a slice of those. Make slice of num. I'm going to call it nums. So that's going to separate those as, I mean, it's fine for this one, right? That we could turn this into an int and then split it on characters, but for these actual data that is like super long, right? We wouldn't want to do that. So we're going to make those, and then we're going to do a line slice equals. No, we don't need to. Do we need to do that? Yes. We're just going to do it. So what I'm saying is we're going to have a slice of ints with nothing in it, right? So now that we've so for in range string slice, right? So now we're iterating through those, and then we're going to line slice, append, line slice, make int string. Okay. So now this should give us that list of ints, right? And our last thing right here is we're going to be input equals input, and then we're going to add on that line slice. Okay. And this should be sufficient to give us that return value we're looking for. So let's go ahead and test it. And it passes. Let's just make sure that I didn't have that still commented out. Okay, so that's not commented out. We are returning that list of ints. Okay, now how are we going to approach this problem? I am thinking that the way that we are going to approach it, right, is iterate through each of these numbers, right? Or, you know, each of these numbers. And what we'll do is just to make it easy on ourselves, right? We're gonna do we'll assess the first row, right? Only looking at the, ones before and after or under, right? And then we'll do sort of the guts of it that is always going to have one on the top or the bottom. And then finally, we'll do the last one that only looks on top. Right? So, yeah. Okay. So let's look at the okay. So what we're going to be passing into the, we'll call it the normal one. You know what we could do? Let's think. What should we call this? Map ends. Okay, so we'll do the ends first. How's that sound? And what we'll do is input 1 is going to be here we go. This is what we'll do. We're going to have just the data here, right? What we'll pass in is 3 things, right? We'll pass in, for example, the first line, we'll pass in the first line, so data 0. The one that we're going to be sort of comparing it to, which is data 1. And we're going to put it in as phone call. I don't know who that is. I'm expecting some interruptions today. I have my equipment drop from my new job happening that I need to sign for, and then my car is also in the shop and I need to pick it up. So if I do get interrupted, I'm sorry. Hopefully my dog will bark enough if the delivery person comes. I did check to make sure that the doorbell was charged. All right. So what are we gonna do? I want to use this map ends one twice, right? To say, like, if the I mean, we can just do a Boolean, right? So like the first one is true, right? So okay, that's not like meaningful, and I don't like it, but well, I could do that, right? Okay, so the index for here would be like 0, right? An int. The index for the last one will be not 0. Now the question is, what do I want to return? Probably a array of like what there is, any low points, or it could just be like a sum, right? The sum of those values. So in this case, it would be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's just do that. 3. So that would be the first line. And the last line would be data minus 1, right? No, that's what this should be here. So data length data minus 1. Oh, what order do we put it in? Oh. And the reason so yes, this is the target one that we care about, and this is the one that we're going to compare it to. So for in this example, the first one, right? Actually, so this doesn't matter, right? We'll just we don't care about this extra value, right? We'll order them in ourselves, right? So the first one is the one that we're mapping, right? This is for the first line. It's in the first position. This is the one that we're mapping. And then we're comparing it to the second one, which is index 1, and this is index length minus 2. Okay. And what we want to find here is 5. We want the result to be 6. 6. All right. I think that is a sufficient test to check those ends. Let's go ahead and build our function here, our first function. It's actually doing things. All right. Func build map ends. So target line. When I learned I could do this the other day too. If they're the same, I can just do a comma and then declare them at the end. And what I want to return is an int. All right. So total equals 0. Return total. All right. So what I want to do is, and again, this is for just the last ones. I'm going to want to compare. Hold on. Just gotta make sure that. Okay. So there's another thing that I'm going to have to deal with, right? Which is how to compare those lines, right? Let's actually make that first. Let's save that. Test will fail here. So I'm going to make a test for a function I'm going to call like is lowest or something like that. And what I'm planning on doing is just is lowest. And what I'm going to be passing in will be, let's just call it, let's just sort of look at this, right? A value, right? And then a list of ints. That way we can sort of make it expandable of the surrounding ones. And there can be any number, right? So in the list, the example of this 2 right here, it would be 3 and 1, right? And we want to return a false. Because it is not the lowest, because 1 will be lower, right? Okay, and let's do another one. Let's say 1 right next to it. And surrounding it is 9. We'll start with 2, 9, and 9. Right? And it will be the lowest. That is the lowest. 1 is the lowest of these numbers, right? Let's do another one just to show that we can do like sort of all 4. So this one has, we're always going to be comparing at least 2 numbers, 3 numbers, or 4 numbers, right? So let's say 7 right here, right? We'll do that 7. It's got 9, 8, 8, 6. So 9, 8, 8, 6. And the order doesn't really matter, right? Okay. So let's, and of course we don't need this data here. Okay. I'm not going to bother testing it because we know it's going to fail. Let's func is lowest, and then remember we're going to be what should we call this? Oops, what did I do here? What should we call this? Point, which is an int, and neighbors. I think I spelled that right. It is an int, and we're going to return bool. All right, so if at any point a number is lower around it, we're going to return false, right? So we have to like check them. We have to check them all, right? So return true is going to be what we get if we don't return false and exit in the first place, right? So we'll say for I don't care about that. So, okay, so if the neighbor is less what do we do when we get a tie? Lower than any of its neighbors, right? So it has to be lower. It can't be the same, right? Which could be problematic because that could have like a 2-digit low point. Let's just assume that those don't exist, right? The numbers aren't right next to each other. I mean, we could make a I mean, so there are numbers that are next to each other here, right? But they're not low ones. Maybe we could put in there something that checks for that. Okay, but we're not going to deal with it now. If the neighbor is less than the point, then we're just going to return false. We don't want to test its lowest. Its lowest. Okay. So is lowest should pass, which it does. We can show that by, we'll just comment these out real quick. All right. So that'll accept anything of any size, right? Which is helpful, right? To pass stuff into it, right? So now we're going to have to look at how we map these ends. And we're going to do a similar thing, right? Let's just for we could just handle errors, but let's not do that. I don't want to get caught up in dealing with errors. All right, so for we'll just use a standard I. But we're going to start on index 1, right? That way we have 3. And we'll check the first and last ones sort of on the ends. Okay. So let's actually check them first. If is lowest, target line 0, right? That's the first value. And we're going to be comparing it to target line 1 and reference line 0. Okay. So if it's lowest, then we will total plus equals target line 0 plus 1, right? And okay, so that deals with the first one. Let's finish this for statement. Until I is less than the length of target line minus 2, right? Because we're going to make an exception for the end as well. And I plus plus. So that's gonna be where we have our logic. Let's do this last line here. It's kind of janky, right? But so this is the last one, right? The last index, right? And what we're going to pass into it is target line -2, right? So the second to last one, and a reference line, target line -1. We're going to return. Okay. We gotta get rid of these. Should be plus equals. All right. So now we've dealt with the top and the last and the first index, and now we need to deal with the bulk of it, which will be sort of a similar if statement here, but it's going to be utilizing I a lot more. All right, so I plus 1. I, and then -1. Okay. And that should return our total. Okay. Go ahead and test it. Passes. Did I have that commented out? No, I got it. Okay, good. It's returning those values that we want there. Okay. Now we need to do sort of a more of a bulk, right? Let's say test bulk. It's kind of gross sounding. We'll change it to map center because I don't like using bulk. It just sounds kind of gross. All right. So in this case, we would have map center with sort of a 2 target lines, right? Let's see. We'll do these two, right? So our target line is going to be line 1, like the one that we're looking at. And then we'll also be passing in 0 and 2, right? And we should get back 0 from that. And let's make this smaller so that we can see this better. And then we'll do 0, 1, 2. And the one before it would be 1, and the one after it would be 3. And what we want from this is 6. Right? Because we're going to hit a 5 here. It's weird that these comments don't like seem to come with it until I save it. All right. Obviously that'll fail. Our function here is going to be pretty similar, right? Certainly the is lowest can be reused. But it has target line, above line, below line. Okay, and all right, so, but we have to do a similar thing here, right? Where we sort of are dealing with the first index, right? So in this case, we're going to pass in 0. We're going to pass in target line 1, right? And then we're going to do above line 0. And then we're also going to do below line 0, right? So +1 above and below, right? So that takes care of the first part. Let me drag this over so that we can see a little better. All right, and then the is lowest one here, we'll do the same thing at the beginning, but then we've got the second to last one. And then above line -1. Below line -1. Okay. And now for the bulk of it, we have the same thing, target line, and then below line, and above line. All right, now let's go ahead and test that, and we pass. All right, so now we have functions to go through the whole thing as we iterate, right? So for part 1, what are we looking at? Risk levels. I guess we should make a test for this first, right? All right, part 1, our input is going to just be data. That's what we're getting out, right? And we want the result to be 15. So we're going to start it with 0, and we're going to do sort of a similar thing that we're doing here. So I'm just going to copy it. No, actually, we're not going to do that at all. All right. So remember that these map center and whatever are returning an int, right? So first thing we're going to do is risk level plus equals map ends data 0, right? And data 1, right? Finally, you know what, we could probably just copy this, right? All right, so this is us doing the first and the last, and then we're going to do a for loop for I equals 1 until while I is less than length of data minus 2, because we don't want to do the last one, right? Plus plus risk level plus equals map center, and then we'll do that with data I and data I minus 1, though I guess the order doesn't really matter, and data I plus 1. All right, let's go ahead and test it. And our tests pass. Let's go ahead and run it. Run main dot go and uncomment out where I'm actually running it. Run it again. Right, in a couple microseconds. Oops. Just type it in. 1830. No, it's too high. It's too high. So where am I getting it wrong? Because my test code is passing in my data correctly, right? Let me, instead of doing this, I will do load input, just because that's what we should be getting out of that, right? But okay. All right, so what could be wrong? What could be the difference? It says my answer's too high. Which means I'm finding too many spots, right? Let's look at main.go. You know what's weird? So I am splitting them all up. I'm cruising through them. Did I 1830 1830? Okay, I typed it in right. So this would be the first one. This would be the last one. And then we're going to go index 1, which is the second one, up to index, instead of length data minus 1, length data minus 1 is the second last one, I minus 1, I plus 1, which should return an int. Data length data minus 1. This is the last one, and this is the second to last one that we're comparing it to. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this. Let's make sure that my data, it's all there, that I didn't like erase a digit or something. 1, 2, yeah, got that. And I would say that maybe it's too low, right? If I wasn't counting the I'm adding 1, right? Is lowest map ends total is that plus 1. What's wrong with it? Huh. I'm puzzled. Wish Apricot was here to save me. Not that it should make any difference. Wait, what's this? So the first one, target line. I'm going to make this a little more sensible. The one before it, the one after it, we're comparing it to. The one above it, the one below it at I, right? Target line I. Above line and below line. Okay, what do we pass it in? Above line would be -1, below line would be +1. What is this? I honestly don't know why this doesn't work. This seems like it would make so much sense. I'm just going through, grabbing the numbers. I'm going to start doing something here. All right. So we're going to print line. Sort of an extra step, right? But now I can debug it. Line, is it a V for value? All right, so I and line risk. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it, right? So because we didn't what's this about? Wait, why can't I need to print this out? I forget how I do that. Just printf. Formats and writes to standard output. Okay. Right. So this is telling me so we're skipping in this case we're skipping line 0 here, right? Because we're I mean we could just add that, but we're stop talking. We're skipping line 0 and skipping the last line, so we should have line 1 with 0, line 2 with 6. Why don't we have line 3? Why don't we have line 3? I wonder if that's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. I mean, that is a problem. One, 8, 4, 3, but so that's different, but I don't think my number was, I think my number was too high, right? Not too low? Yeah, my answer's too high. Yeah, making more of them. Well, I mean, at least I'm assessing all the right numbers now, right? Let's this only has to happen once, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and to add a new line here. It's not super ugly. I'm gonna get there eventually. All right, and we're gonna do sort of a similar here. But with this. Okay. So, man. Okay. UPS. I'm expecting FedEx though. Target. Okay. Oh, there it is. This is the repair shop. One sec. Okay, I'm back. Still don't know what's wrong with my stuff though. All right, let's look back at our lines. 6, 6, 3. That's what we should get, right? Let's go ahead and run it and see what we can see in our, just like our last line. I'm sure that it's, I mean, looking at the like first line and last line, I'm guessing are the problems, right? All right, so you guys can't really see this, can you? Let me go to my input here, make it a little easier to see. All right, let's look. I will, what will I do? All right, I'm gonna put, just to make sure that I don't screw it up. All right, so if I see a character that is the lowest, I will 1, right? Going up 0, 9, 9. 7 is not right because there's 6. Oh, 1 is not here either, is it? Because there's 0 on the other side, right? 9, 9, 9, 7 has 6 on the other side. 8, 7, 6, 5 has 4 on the other side. 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 4, 3 has 4 on the other side. So 3 is 1 there. Going up, down to 0. Going up, back down to 5, but it's got 4 on the other end. 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0. I feel like these are way higher than they should be, right? Like the total's not 35 on the bottom here. Can't be. 7 has 6 on the other side. 7, 6, 5 has 4 on the other side. 1 has 0. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 3, 2. It's legit. 9, 6, 5 has 4 on the other side. 4. Maybe we'll get up to it. 9, 9, 8, 7. 3, 2 has 1 on the other side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 1. All right. So let's go through there. This should be 1. Just make this big, and I'm gonna 1, 4, 1, 1, 3, 5, 2, and if we add them up, we've got 5, 6, 7, 10, 17. 17, and here we got 35. Why? Why do we have 35? Why do we have 35? Why do we have 35? I'm not counting something right. Somewhere. And I'm just not going to save that, so it won't check it when I go. All right, so when I map the center, data 1, right? No, I mean it's getting what I got. But my logic has to be off somewhere. Because it's like what it's like is that I've got this is lowest, and it's like stuff is coming back true. Let me um we're just gonna look at this line 9 here, or line 99, and look. Oh, jeez, yeah, it's returning some nines here. Why would it return some nines? Let's look at our input. We got 0, we got 3, we got 0, we got 0, we got 2, 4, and a 9. Why would we have a 9? And why don't we have this 1? I'm stopping too early sometimes, I think. All right, let's look. Let's look. First and last. Okay, test map ends. We're gonna go. Well, that's not good. Why is it doing that? The only place I told it to print the line is if it is lowest. All right, so oh, I know what I did. So I'm saying if neighbor, right? If neighbor, so say the number's 9, right? So the point is 9, and all the neighbors are 9, right? Then the point, then this is false, right? And so that's why we're coming back with some 9s. How do I think about this? Why is this returning 9 now? Why did I change? Shoot. Input 15. Line 0, 3. Line 2, 6. What we got here? 3, 2, 6. 5, 6. Well, that should be 15. Am I not? Oh, am I not adding that on? Oh, yeah, I'm not. So now I'll pass that. Now let me get rid of 504. Way lower. No! No, it's too low. Let's I'm missing I did notice, right? Remember that I missed that last line 9915. Let's go look at that. Right, so we had 0, 3, 0, 0, right? 2, 4, and we're missing the 1, right? Why are we missing that 1? Is it right? Yeah, that's right. So why are we missing that 1? I'm guessing that we are not getting to the end of our line. That's what it is. Two, 512. Boy, you guys, this is ugly today. What am I doing here? 512. Wants me to wait 1 minute though. Ah, test it again. Get rid of our comments. And it does pick up that 1, right? Okay. Where's that? Really looking forward to whatever part 2 is. That's gonna wreck me, isn't it? Okay, right answer, gold star. Finally, freaking finally. All right. Next, we need to find the largest basin so that we know what areas are most important to avoid. The basin is all locations that eventually flow downward to a single low point. Therefore, every low point, so we can find those and map those, right? Basin is all locations that eventually flow downward. Jeez. So basically, what? It's basically find everything that is separated by a like a line of nines, right? Oh. I'm not even going to pretend how to know how to do this yet. Let me get rid of this input. I got no idea. I got no idea how to approach this. I mean, I know that I could like iterate through and find all the rows that and columns that aren't nines, right? But how do I map that? Do I map it based on sort of the first? I map it based on the first coordinate, right? So there's a map with an identity of 0, 0, or like a basin with the identity of 0, 0, and it's size 2, right? And then you hit here, and then one with size this, and it goes until it hits a 9, and it's 5, right? Now we start here and see it's not a 9, and attach it to the 0, 0, right? Here we got one that starts a new basin. The problem is that there has to be some like normal person way of doing this. That's not the way that I'm thinking of it. Because yeah, I can't even pretend to. I think that approach could work, but how do I? Can a map have multiple values? No, I could do that. I could do that maybe, right? I can make a struct that is an X and a Y coordinate, essentially, right? I can make an array and fill it with all this garbage, right? I go through if it doesn't, if oh man, that's ugly, right? Okay, so maybe not, or maybe I do it. I've been thinking about just like how I can do it efficiently, right? But maybe I just need to do it, right? So the if a key was this and then a value was another struct, right? So it would basically be like throw it in tests here, right? Map chord or chord list of chords of map of lists. Can I do that? Create a map of string. I don't know. This might be the one. This one's hard. Maybe I just the thing that I'm concerned about is that yesterday, right, I started this off with a idea of how I could it's like if I could see it, right, I could probably eyeball it, right? All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the stream and see if I can learn some stuff. I just don't even know how to like approach this right now. So I'll think about it and hopefully I will come back to it. All right. In the meantime, got 1 star. I'm worried about this weekend, man. I'm gonna die if they're hard. All right. In the meantime, take care.